Welcome back to Normal Baseball. We are continuing our 2023 Will Bees, which are our team projections for this season. Today we're doing the Washington Nationals. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of Normal Baseball Will Be series, the Normal Baseball Will Be series. I'm Alex Normal Dog, aka Mr. Washington National.
Mr. National himself.
That's Lewis. And
Mr. 2019 World Series champion National.
And today we are continuing our Will Be series for the 2023 season, which is basically our team projections for each team. Today we are doing the Washington Nationals, who, in our power rankings, we did power rankings before this last week before we started these, and the Nationals were the 28th best team in baseball according to our projections, and the 14th best team in the National League, so second to last. We ranked them based on lineup, bench, defense, rotation, bullpen, coaching, and energy, and we are going to kind of break down each one, and we're going to be talking about them. So,
yes, we are.
Are you ready to get into it?
I am ready.
I am beyond ready as well. So, the Washington Nationals were the worst team in baseball last season. They had the most amount of losses. They had 107 losses, 55 wins. Not a good team whatsoever. They traded Soto last year. They traded Josh Bell last year. A lot went downhill for the Nationals last year, and since 2019, really, it's been going very downhill. But there might be some things that they have to look forward to this season, which is why we're here to talk about it. So, yeah, we'll start with their lineup. The Washington Nationals lineup, out of 10, we gave it a 4.8. 4.8 out of 10. Their lineup this year, this is Fangraphs projected lineup. Right field, we have Lane Thomas. Third base, we have Jeimer Candelario. DH, we have Joey Meneses. First base, Dom Smith. Catcher, Keibert Ruiz. Left field, Corey Dickerson. Shortstop, C.J. Abrams. Center field, Victor Robles. And second base, Luis Garcia. So, what do you have? What kind of points do you have for this lineup, Lewis?
We did give them a 4.8, so we do have to note that this lineup obviously does not look too good. There are some bright spots, though. I'm a big believer in Joey Meneses. I believe Alex is as well.
I am a big Joey Meneses guy.
Yeah, and I am also pretty high on the guys that they got back from the Scherzer Trey Turner trade a couple of years ago in Keibert Ruiz and C.J. Abrams. Not C.J. Abrams.
Yep, C.J. Abrams.
No, C.J. Abrams was the Padres.
That was the Josh Bell
Keibert
trade.
Ruiz, I'm high on, along with Josiah Gray, who we'll talk about in a little bit, who was the other piece in that trade. I think that he's going to have a very good season. I think that we're going to start seeing the ascent of what was at one time the Dodgers' second best prospect in their system, because Keibert Ruiz does have all the tools. Switch hitter, catcher, has the arm, has the ability to do whatever it takes to win a baseball game, at least from an individual standpoint. It's a matter of having the 8 other people around him do the same thing. But Joey Meneses and Keibert Ruiz, definitely 2 guys, I think, that make this lineup look better than we would expect.
Yeah, Keibert Ruiz, I don't think his bat is going to be insane this year.
We'll see.
Like, I know you're very high on him. I don't think he's going to be the most crazy breakout star catcher this season.
But I think that he'll be more, he won't just be serviceable. Like, he will be like one tier above that. Like, he'll be a good
above
catcher.
average.
Yeah, above average.
I think his defense is really where that gets to. He has a very good arm, which is mainly where his defense comes from. In terms of the rest of this lineup, yes, I am very high on Joey Meneses. It's kind of hard to not be. The guy hit 13 home runs, 14 doubles, in just 56 games last year, and he hit 324 with a 930 OPS again in just 56 games last season. I'm very high on Joey Meneses for this season. I think if he can put together a good season, like what he did last year, but over the course of the entire season,
then he'll be solid.
He'll be noticed. People will notice him. He'll give them no choice.
Yeah.
As far as the rest of this lineup, CJ Abrams, he struggled a little bit last year, but give him some more time in the majors, let him kind of adjust, keep going, and I think he'll get there. I think he'll be a pretty decent player. We'll see how that turns out. And then you got guys like Victor Robles, who seems to, like, he hasn't been in the majors at, like, I think this is his 5th year in the majors going into, maybe his 6th. It feels like he's been in the majors for, like, 10 years, but that's just not it. Victor Robles, good player, only 25. Very good player.
This is his 5th year, by the way.
This is his 5th year going into. He's a good player, though, so I wouldn't say I'm high on him, but he is always going to be a solid player in that lineup. Jeimer Candelario and Dom Smith are two guys that are kind of like, they got rejected by their old teams, and they're looking to make a name for themselves on a worse team like the Nationals so that next year they can hopefully get a better contract from a better team. That's really what those two are trying to do this year. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I'm excited to see what Dom Smith and Jeimer Candelario can do, considering they're trying to prove themselves.
Yeah. Dominic Smith, I think, is going to be a wild card because, I mean, Mets fans, I think you guys know this very, very well. Dom Smith is so hit or miss when it comes to his, like, week-by-week performance. He can have those series where he goes, like, 5 for 12 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. Like, he can go nuclear, but he could also go freezing cold for weeks on end, series on end, even a month or two. So that's the wild card, I think, is definitely Dom Smith.
Wild card. Yeah, no, I like it. I like your thought process there. I wouldn't say he's gonna go crazy, but hopefully he can.
Could he be the next Kyle Schwarber?
No. I'd say Joey Meneses has a better chance of being Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber that can hit for average.
That's interesting.
Not really. Not at all. I mean, it's interesting, yes, but I don't think that's true at all. Because he can also hit doubles, and he's decently fast. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's pretty much my thoughts on their lineup. I think it's a decent lineup. Nothing crazy. It has potential. 4.8, now that I look back at it, 4.8 kind of seems a little low. But, especially because we gave the Rockies 6.3. It makes sense. 4.8 does seem a little bit low, though. So, that's my thoughts on the Nationals lineup. It's nothing crazy. I think they're on pace to lose a very good amount of games. It's not going to be a incredibly run-producing lineup. So
yeah, I can get behind that.
Well, that's our thoughts on their lineup. For their bench, out of 10, we gave their bench a 5.4. Keep in mind, this is based on, like, this guy's on your bench, They're bench players. Keep that in mind. Right now, their bench is slated to be Riley Adams, catcher, Ildemaro Vargas, who is kind of a utility guy, Alex Call, and Stone Garrett, who are outfielders.
Yeah.
It's not a bad bench whatsoever.
Not at all.
Especially when you look at who they might be platooning with. I don't think it's a horrible bench. So
yeah, another one of those middle of the road benches that you can't say anything amazing about them, but you can't say anything bad about them. They're just very middle of the road. These guys will be serviceable when you need them to come off your bench.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, from their lineup and their bench this season, they lost Cesar Hernandez, who actually wasn't horrible last season at all.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He got picked up by the Tigers. They lost Luke Voit, who didn't want to be there. I wouldn't cry about it. Luke Voit is a Brewer now, which makes so much sense. But they did lose Luke Voit. He didn't want to be there in the first place. It was supposed to be Eric Hosmer, but Eric Hosmer ruined Luke Voigt's career. Nelson Cruz, who was their DH last season, he wasn't great last season, but
blown away that he didn't get traded last season.
Yeah, I think it was mostly because this offseason he got that eye surgery, and hopefully he'll be seeing the ball a lot better. But he's a Padre now, so he is obviously no longer on the Nationals. So that was kind of D. Strange Gordon was on their team last year. He's currently a free agent. Same thing with Alcides Escobar. But they lost a couple guys and they got a couple guys. But I still think overall this lineup is not anything too crazy in terms of how they will pair up against other lineups.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Moving on, we have their defense. We gave it a 6.6 out of 10. My thought of the high grade, I don't remember exactly what I gave them, but mine was mostly because of Keibert Ruiz. I would like for Keibert Ruiz to get better at defense. He has a good arm, but I know you're saying he will. I don't know if you're saying it a little just because you like Keibert Ruiz that much. He had -4 framing runs in 2022. Not good. And I think especially nowadays, getting those extra strikes, stealing those extra strikes.
It means a lot.
It means a lot. And I know robo-umps are coming, but they're not here yet is the reality of it. So while you're here, might as well get good at framing the ball. So I think he does need to focus a little bit on that. But his arm is amazing. He's got a cannon and accuracy. So I think he kind of put the defense pretty high up for me.
Yeah, I was big on Keibert Ruiz's defense, and I think having an up-the-middle combo with C.J. Abrams, I think that's a good look, especially a young shortstop. He's going to be able to make those plays that you don't think are possible. I thought, in my head, I had Joey Meneses playing first and Dom Smith at DH, so that's where I also thought Joey Meneses can play a very above-average first base position, so I was confident in putting him into that upper echelon of he can play good defense.
Where do you get that from? He's played 56 games in the majors so far. Do we really know how good at defense he is?
I just think that he will be good at defense.
It's a guess.
It's a guess because he didn't play that much in the field last season. He was very much a utility guy, basically. I do think though that if they do give him full run at just first base and leave him there, I think that he will be able to perform well. He played 32 games at first base, or 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 37 games at first base last season out of his 56 games. And I genuinely just think that he did well. I think that there's no issue or problem with him playing first base. I don't think that he will be a defensive liability.
Okay, that's fair. Like I said, Joey Meneses had nothing to do with my defensive base. I kind of thought more of Keibert Ruiz with the arm, and then C.J. Abrams, who, young guy, yes, but he has been pretty good at defense from what we've seen. Victor Robles is a good defender. I just think they do have a couple of good defenders. So
They're solid.
Solid defense. We gave it a 6.6.
Yep.
6.6 out of 10. Yeah. Moving on to their rotation. We gave their rotation out of 10, 6.4, which is pretty good. Because their rotation is pretty good.
Pretty good.
You have Josiah Gray, who is slated to be their one starter, unless Steven Strasburg does come back before the beginning of the season.
Which, who knows?
It could happen. We'll see. But we'll talk about that in a second. Josiah Gray, Patrick Corbin, Trevor Williams, Cade Cavalli, and Mackenzie Gore. I'm very high on the 1 and 5 that I said. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore. I am very high on those two people. I think that they'll both have good seasons. I think they'll both get more adjusted to the majors, and I think it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the whole rotation? By the way, I think Patrick Corbin being in this rotation, he needs to have a good season. Last year, he pitched in 31. He started 31 games and had a 6.31 ERA.
That's impressive.
That's impressively bad for a guy who in 2018 pitched in 33 games and had a 3.15 ERA. So, Patrick Corbin, figure it out. That's what I have to say. But anyway, I'll let you speak now.
Definitely the guy that I want to be on the lookout for is the two younger guys, the two guys that they acquired to give away their superstars, Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore. Definitely want to keep an eye out on them. Also, it'll be interesting to see Trevor Williams. They signed him and part of the deal was that Trevor Williams was going to get stretched out to become a starter rather than a reliever, which he was with the Mets most of the time. But Mackenzie Gore and Josiah Gray, definitely the two guys that I'm looking forward to watching, because especially Mackenzie Gore's first half last year was really, really good. And that's part of the reason why the Nationals got him, because the Padres sold high on him, which was upsetting at the time because you thought that he was looking really good and would have been a solid piece in the Padres rotation. But now I think that he's going to be a great, great piece behind Josiah Gray in the Nationals rotation.
I agree. Where's number 1, by the way, which I love that from a starting pitcher.
It's badass.
Yeah, I think he'll surprise a lot of people this season.
Yeah.
The Nationals overall last season did not play good against, obviously we knew that, but they did not play good against any team, especially any NL East team. I think every time they play an NL East opponent, it's not going to be a fun time for them, unless, some of their guys can have amazing starts. Because looking at their bullpen, which we'll talk about right now, it's not great.
Yeah, I think one of the keys for the Nationals, and honestly any team that we feel will be bottom of the barrel, they need to pick one of those top end teams, and really just be annoying. Not so much of compete against them for a division or a wild card, but just down the stretch, hey, last 6 games to win the National League East, the Mets need to win 5 out of their last 6. Nationals are 3 of them. Go take 2 or 3 Nationals. That'll be interesting.
We want them to be the pesky team.
Yeah, I think all the bottom, these bottom 10, 15 teams that we're going to talk about, I think I want them all to be pesky. I want them to just be nipping at the toes of all the big guys.
I agree. I think it's kind of what I thought the Orioles were going to be last season before the season started. They are going to be this pesky team that you think is going to be an easy win, but they're going to put up a fight regardless of how the game turns out.
Yeah, they'll find some way to make the game annoying and even steal the game from what could be your favorite team.
Every player has something to prove.
For sure.
They want to win as many games as possible, although they might not win that many games. They are going to be trying to win every game.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think they will be the pesky team in the National League this season. The sneakily pesky team.
I like the idea of it. Yep, that'll be fun.
It's in my head now. It's cemented in my brain. Now we're moving on to their bullpen. Their bullpen exists. We gave it a 5 out of 10 on our list. 5 out of 10. Nothing special in this bullpen. Nothing crazy. Kyle Finnegan, Carl Edwards Jr., Hunter Harvey, Sean Doolittle. Cool to see. But nothing crazy. And nothing great.
Hunter Harvey is one of those guys that I like just because I feel like although he has been in the league for a few years, he's 28 years old now. I feel like Hunter Harvey is always one of those guys that I could say he could be very good at times. And I'm excited to watch him pitch coming out of the bullpen. They also got Sean Doolittle back, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah, no, I like Sean Doolittle.
Not something that you see every day.
He belongs to be he's meant to be a national.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think that's the three given rules of life.
Oh, yeah. Death, taxes, and
Sean Doolittle.
Sean Doolittle.
National.
Yeah. The three guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Sean Doolittle on the Nationals.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good for him. He's a non-roster invitee right now, but one can only assume
he'll make the team.
He'll definitely be on the team.
Yeah.
So
I think that he'll be good. Hunter Harvey, that is. So that's really the only bright spot for me in the Nationals bullpen, especially just because, again, they're a bottom of the barrel team. They don't really have too much to look forward to.
Yeah, I agree. I think the teams this game. Whoa. I think the games this team wins will be more because of their starters rather than their relievers.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, that's the Nationals. What else we got here? Next category. Moving on to coaching. Davey Martinez and company. 6 out of 10 we gave them. Just kind of middle of the road. Yes, I know 5 is middle of the road out of 10, but still, I think it's just sort of, yeah, they're a decent coaching staff. They can do what they do with players, but it's nothing that pops your eyes out of their sockets and is like, wow, that's really, really good
That's
coaching.
amazing.
So
Great move.
I think it's good coaching, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, that, again, another one of those teams that suffers from not having the tools to allow these coaches to show how smart they are in terms of the game. How's that?
Yeah. I like it. This team is not like one of the teams that you think of anymore. I don't know if I'm saying that in the right way.
I think about him every day, baby. I
So
think
do I.
about him every day.
But yeah, the Nationals exist. And then the last one, we have Energy. We gave it a 5.1 out of 10.
Yeah. Young guys. That's why.
It's the young guys that give it the big edge. But at the same time, they're not going to be playing championship level baseball or even playoff level baseball. So it's more of have fun and play your heart out in every game, and the energy will be there.
And that's I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
So do I. So do I.
That'll be fun.
I agree. It will be fun. Clap it up for the Nationals.
Nationals.
So now we're going to go into their MVPs for the season. Who do you think the MVP hitter for the Washington Nationals will be this season?
Hitter, I'm going to go chalk Joey Meneses. I think that he has the most potential, especially in the 56 games that we saw him last season. I think that just he is the guy that needs to break out and will break out this upcoming season.
I agree. I'm going to go with Joey Meneses as well. Who do you think is going to be their MVP pitcher this season?
I'm going to go with Mackenzie Gore. After the season that he put together last year, I think, although he won't obviously be like a sub-2 ERA or a sub-3 ERA, I think that he's still going to be very serviceable, very good. And how can you not like the pitcher wearing the number 1? Pretty cool. So I'm going to go with Mackenzie Gore.
All right, Mackenzie Gore is a valid one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Josiah Gray, just for the sake of being different, having a little different stuff here. I think Josiah Gray strikes a lot of guys out. I think he's got good stuff. He's a righty, and Mackenzie Gore's a lefty, but he's a righty. So I don't know. I like Josiah Gray. Like you said, two of the guys they got from the Dodgers, the Doyers, for Scherzer, back in 21, Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray. I think Josiah's going to be pitching to Keibert, and he's going to be doing very good while he's doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
I'm going to go with Josiah Gray for MVP pitcher.
I like that. And as for prospects that we should look out for.
Lewis's rookie report.
The basic answer is obviously another one of their starting pitchers, Cade Cavalli, who will be basically making a full season, barring he stays healthy, which I hope he does. He was ranked 58th this year in the prospect rankings on MLB.com. However, I want to shine the light on someone who I think is more of a wild card, more of an interesting pick. Robert Hassel III, another guy that came over in the Juan Soto trade. He finished out his season last year in Double-A for the Nationals, where he looked pretty good. He did only bat like .222, but over the course of playing for 3 teams in the 2022 season, that includes High A for the Padres, Double A for the Padres, and now Double A for the Nationals. He put together an all-in-all good season, batting .273. I mean, the dude had 25 doubles, 11 homers, stole 24 bases, but he did strike out a good bit, and that OPS sat just under 800 at 764. All in all, I think that he's a good prospect to keep an eye out on, and if he does start, what I've at least read is that he's probably going to start in AAA this upcoming season. I think if he gets off to a good start, that maybe in June or July we see him get called up, which would be fun. You know, Robert Hassel I think has the utility to be quite a good player, ranked number 35 in the prospect rankings on MLB.com out of the top 100, and ranked 2nd in the Washington National system.
Yeah, the more young guys, the better for the Nats. So you might as well.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's it for the Nationals. Lastly, we will.
The Nats.
Lastly, I will say the 2023 Nationals will be, and you will tell me what place the Nationals will be in this upcoming season. The 2023 Washington Nationals will be in
5th place.
fifth place in the NL East. I also agree with that. Fifth place in the NL East sounds about right.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Pretty chalk.
pretty chalk. That's all we got for you. The next episode or the next one in our Will Be series will be the Detroit Tigers.
Tune on in.
So tune into that. And if you enjoyed, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow the podcast, and all that fun stuff. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.